My name's Ron, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey Ron!
Welcome to New Year's Eve, 2016. The next New Year's Eve that falls on a Saturday night will be 2023. So you guys will have to hold on 7 years before we do this again. We thought we'd make this a little special. Some friends of mine got on the phone, we're talking, and they said, yeah, what are you doing New Year's Eve? I said, I got an open spot on my calendar, I have no clue. And they all agreed to come down and be part of this. So we're going to put this together for you guys. It's just the celebration of recovery here. We get to do this every Saturday night at 8:30, and we got a pretty solid crew of guys that just love coming here and being of service and being around guys who carry a message of hope and recovery. And when you're around that, you just can't help but just be lifted. And that's what we try to do here. Now, I think where is Miss Lily at? Miss Lucy's going to kick us off here and get us started. Robbie's going to be our first speaker. She's got a couple of simple things. Oh, one quick announcement. It's important. January 28th, 2017, which is less than a month from now, Bob D. will be here with Adrian C. from New York City. And they will be doing a workshop on a Saturday here. Starts 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's absolutely free. We will provide a free lunch for you also. And Bob D. will be speaking that evening at 8:30 p.m. right here. 2 days before that, Thursday evening, at our sister group, the Big Book Study, at the Big Book Study Solution Group of Alcoholics Anonymous, that meets at Salem UCC Church, 186 East Court Street, every Thursday at 7:30. Bob will be there, and he's going to do a talk for us. I don't know what I'm going to have him do. Last time he came out for us, I had him do steps 10, 11, and 12 instead of the story, because sometimes I believe that you can get more out of it when we stay into the work. So, Two times he's going to be in Doylestown. Mark your calendar if you like, and we'll have some fun with that. And Lily's going to take over and enjoy the night.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm Lily. I'm an alcoholic. And welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. So this is a 1-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday evening here at St. Paul's Church, 301 North Main Street at 8:30 p.m. in Doylestown. Obviously tonight it's earlier because of the big extravaganza. The purpose of the group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and service to others through the practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from their message of recovery, and if you wish not to be recorded, just simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone to this meeting, especially newcomers. So is there anyone out there that would like to introduce themselves with their first name only if they're new to this meeting? Yes. Hi, Carol. Welcome. Yes. Hi, Marie. Welcome. Yes. Hey, Stephanie. Welcome.
How you guys doing? I'm Zach. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Zach. Hi, Kevin. Welcome. Hi, Sue.
Joey, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Joey.
I'm Blake. I'm an addict.
Hey, Blake.
Ethan, alcoholic.
Hey, Ethan. Am I missing anything?
I am Bill. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Bill. Welcome. Anybody else? Yes. Hey, Mike. Welcome. Great. There, we got everybody there? Okay, so the Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and willing to sponsor, please raise your hands? Great. So these folks are lifelines for anyone that doesn't have a sponsor, and please touch base with them after the meeting. And does anyone have any announcements for the good of AA tonight? No announcements? Okay, they already made some. So we have meeting lists and big books on easy terms, and you can please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you can't afford Big Book, we shall provide you one for free. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of Big Books and CDs to help those who can't afford them, please put your donations in the jar. And I think it's in the back or maybe on the side, but we'll find it if it's not already out there. If you would like a CD of any speaker, past or present, please see Ron after the meeting. They're available free of charge, and there's a wide assortment of them. And I have asked Anthony to come up and read the AA preamble.
Good evening and Happy New Year's, everyone. This is the AA preamble, and I'm Anthony, I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And I've asked Lindsay to come up and read the 12 steps of AA recovery.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm an alcoholic. These are the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being that the exact nature of our wrongs. Step 4. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Step 7. Humbly asked Him to remove all of our shortcomings. Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 9. Made a direct amends to such people wherever possible, except to do so would injure them or others. Step 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for our knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Step 11. Had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. We tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Thanks for letting me read.
Thank you.
So we do have a seventh tradition, and every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. The baskets will be going around now. As you know, there are no dues or fees, but there are a lot of expenses. The coffee, the cream, and all of the good food that Ron, Annette, and Tim have provided. We especially want to thank them for all of this big contribution. So there's absolutely no smoking on church property. Please remember this. It's been an issue recently. And this would probably be a good time to silence all cell phones, and we'd like to limit the movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. It's my real great pleasure to announce our first speaker. He's a really good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group. And please, he's from Wildwood, New Jersey, of the Primary Purpose Group. Please help me welcome Robbie W.
Good evening, everybody, from Doylestown. My name's Robbie, and I'm an alcoholic. Hi, everybody. And through the grace of God and this incredible fellowship, great sponsorship, a wonderful home group, and the fact that I've taken all 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous out of my big book and put them in my life, I've been a member of AA in good standing since October 31st of 1983. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Thank you, Roy. Thank you. And, all right, let's try this again. I've been sober since October 31st of 1983. See, let's let alcohol and drugs know that we're in the house, baby. That's right, come on with it. Because there's a whole lot of sober people here that are stoked about sobriety. So anyway, I'm not sure why they made me the leadoff speaker. Actually, I am, because like, I'm the guy like, hey, Mark, how you doing? I was like the guy on the football team. You know what my position used to be in high school? I was the wedge breaker on the kickoff team. Like, I would go down and just like break the wedge. Like, I didn't make the play, I didn't make the tackle. You know, I never made it to the film, but I got the deal ready. So my job tonight is to get the deal ready for our second speaker, Chris, and our last speaker, Roy from Bombay, India. How you doing? And so he already gave me a gift, so I can't mess with you. He already gave me a really cool gift from India GSO. What? And I'm a past delegate, so that means a lot. Thank you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing our second speaker, Chris. We've done a few AA events together, and it's certainly an honor to do one with you again. Thank you, Ron. And thank you, Home Group, for bringing 3 speakers out on a New Year's Eve. You know, on a general night where most of us in the room would be drunk by now, right? If we were drinking, you know, and all those other things too. Don't act like you didn't do that other stuff, because I can look at you and tell you did, you know? And so we, by now, you know, by this time at night, by 8:15 at night, we all be like, oh, you know? And thank God I am clean and sober, and it certainly looks like you got, and thank you, Home Group. Thank you for getting dressed up and all. I love that, you know. I love that stuff. You know, when I get a chance to speak at a convention or a conference or a roundup, or if I'm leading a retreat, where's Jimmy, right? You'll tell, where's my buddy Jimmy and Johnny. Like, when I do retreats, I always dress in suits the whole weekend. And most times the other speakers are like, hey man, don't you have jeans? You know? And I'm like, no, I'm the type of guy that used to live on the streets. I'm the type of guy that, you know, used to rob cars and live under the boardwalk and do felonies, you know? It's like, so why wouldn't I, like, when I have a chance to put a suit on and a tie or whatever, why wouldn't I do that? Shine my shoes. What? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I love getting dressed up. You know, I'll never forget, like, I got this job, like, where I'm at now. Like, I work at a car dealership. Now, I know you would have never known that, right? I work at a car dealership, man, and, like, it's crazy. Like, when I get up in the morning, like, I get a different suit every day. You know, like, what suspenders am I going to wear and all this kind of stuff, you know? And, like, for me, that's exciting. For me, that's exciting. I'm the type of guy that used to walk into a Kmart with an old pair of clothes, you know what I mean? And try on a new outfit and leave with it, you know? So, like, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I, when I get a chance to stand in front of God's kids, why wouldn't I try to be the best example of this program that I can be? See, I make no excuses for that. I know sometimes we go to prisons and mental hospitals and rehabs and we say, the opinion you are going to hear is the opinion of the speaker only, and they do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I represent Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm proud of it. I do everything Alcoholics Anonymous tells you to do. I have a big book. I have a sponsor. I have a home group. I have a permanent sobriety date. And I have a fire for Alcoholics Anonymous. So I make no excuses for this. And if I don't, and if I'm not doing those things, I don't think I belong up here. Right, Sanjay? I don't think I belong up here if I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I believe that, I believe I'm on sacred ground. One of my favorite speakers, Peter M., always says that he likes to take his shoes off before he speaks because he's on sacred ground. See, and I love that. Another friend of mine named Johnny Harris from California, he said something fantastic. I'd like to start with this. He says, if you're an Alcoholics Anonymous, the worst thing you can ever say is, you don't understand me because I'm different. See, ladies and gentlemen of the Doylestown, like, I am just like you. You know, when I hear you share, I listen for the consistencies. When I hear you share, I don't see a color. I don't see a sex. I don't see the neighborhood you come from. I don't see the country you come from. You know, the only thing I see is your heart. And I listen for your heart. You know, Bill Wilson says in Alcoholics Anonymous, we talk the language of the heart. You know, not the language of the gutter. Kathy and I were talking on the way up here, and I mentioned that I wasn't in love with a speaker I just heard, and the only reason being is the speaker continued to cuss from the podium, continued to cuss, and that's okay. It's, you know, I'm not judging. I'm just reporting, people. But the reality of it, like when I get up here, you know, I need to have enough spirituality to realize who's in the room. You know, not to disrespect somebody that's in the room, you see. And so therefore, I'm going to give you the best I have tonight. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you everything I got. I played football for a high school called Father Judge High School in Northeast Philadelphia. And my coach was a guy named Whitey Sullivan. And what Whitey always told us in the locker room, he says, gentlemen, he says, when you leave that field this evening or this afternoon, you better leave nothing on that field. You hear me, Roy? I want you to do everything you can. And when you leave that field, I want you to have nothing left. No emotions, no strength, nothing. And that's how I do it in Alcoholics Anonymous. I get excited, man. So usually when I do conferences and conventions and roundups, I'm always the Friday night guy. You know what I mean? Because I get the deal started. So it's very exciting. When Brother Ron came tonight, he says, would you lead us off? I'm like, of course I'll lead us off. What else would you want me to do? You know? And this is where I feel most comfortable. This is where, and so they usually say to me, hey, are you nervous? Because usually I'm sitting up on stage at a big deal and there's like 1,000 people out there, and the girl in the committee will say, are you nervous, Rob? Because I am, you know. And I'll be like, no, man. You know, I'm getting ready to talk about God and AA. I'm not up here talking about me. I'm not up here trying to impress people with who I am or what my last name is or what. You know, I'm up here to talk about two amazing things. And one is the biggest love story that's ever happened in the world, in my humble opinion, and it's called Alcoholics Anonymous. And the second thing is a loving God that we talk about in our third step. You know, it says we turned our will and our lives over to the care or the supervision of God. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. You know, it says on 164 in the big book. And by the way, if it bothers you that I quote pages of the big book, deal with it. Okay? Deal with it and call your sponsor if you got one. Woo! Anyway, I'm only kidding, sort of. And, you know, but like a lot of times I don't quote pages from the big book. Yeah, because you don't know them. Yeah, because you don't live this program. I happen to chair a big book meeting every Friday night in Wildwood, New Jersey, right, Kat? To bring your own big book meeting. Jimmy and all the boys have been down there from, I don't know where you guys come from, Easton or West Hampton or where the heck you guys. But every Friday night at our clubhouse in Wildwood, New Jersey, at 9:30 to 10:30, we do a big book meeting where we do one paragraph at a time and we talk about it and we dissect it and we get excited and we have a new experience. We have a new experience with the book, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. When we get to page 30, this is exciting, at least for me. If it's not for you, forgive me. But when we get to page 30, it says, remember, we had to smash the fact that we could drink like other alcoholics. I think everybody smashed stuff, and all the old guys were like, oh, God, not again. You know. I like the big book. It's been working for 33 years. You know, why change it now, right? And so, the neat thing about the big book is I don't use it as a weapon. You know, I use this, and I go to big book meetings, not to study it. I'm not a studier. If you got a big book study, I may not come, no offense. I like to have an experience with the big book. And don't get me wrong, it's highlighted, it's underlined, it's tabbed up. But my job is to find out what's in here. To find out that it says love and tolerance of others is our code, and learn how to practice at it when I'm out there, Chris. You know, learn how to practice that on my job. Practice these principles in all our affairs. You know, what am I doing between the Our Father at the end of the meeting and the next serenity prayer? Trust me, between the serenity prayer and the Our Father, I'm a good alcoholic, man. Hi, I'm sober. How about you? Great. Here's a new guy. Let me go help him. See, during that hour, I'm always a good alcoholic. Boy, you think I have the best program in the world. What am I doing when the meeting ends until the next one? And I go to a lot of meetings. See, so my job is to make sure I take what's in here. See, in the other big book, in a thing called Proverbs, it says that we can have all the knowledge in the world, right? But until we have some wisdom, until we put that knowledge into action, it is worthless. So for me, it ain't about knowing what's in here. It's about living it. So, and hopefully tonight, I'm going to probably do a 30 to 40 minute share just to get us going, okay? He's laughing. What? Come on, man. And then we'll have a 5 or 10 minute smoke break, and then we'll call Chris up here. But once again, thank you for everybody coming out here. My home group is the Primary Purpose Group in Wildwood, New Jersey. I love it, man. I got a little shore house, a little raised shore house in West Wildwood, New Jersey. I got my own park bench today. You know, love it. I used to, you know what I mean? I used to sit on them at night, you know, trying to, you know, in Rittenhouse Square, the park, Rittenhouse Park. You know, I wasn't at the Devon eating. I was over in the park grubbing. You know, and that's who I am. I never want to forget that. Pulled up in a nice Jeep tonight with a nice friend, right? Dressed well in a tux. You know, friends. I got friends all over this room that hug me and love me. Hey, I'm from this group. Hey, I'm from that group. I saw you speak. Hey, it's great to see you guys. See, but I never want to forget where I come from, bum. Never want to forget. I know who I am and what I am. I never forget. Hi, Eric. What's up, dude? I never want to forget what it's like to be inside prison. I don't know why I'm saying that right after I say hi to you. But I never want to forget what it's like to be in prison, to be in rehabs, to be in psych wards, to be on the streets. Kathy and I, on Christmas night, we were in Center City, Philadelphia. And yeah, she knows I'm a softie. And I kept on giving dollar bills out because we're at City Hall, you know, with the Christmas tree and doing the selfies. And like everybody came up to me, I'm hitting them up. And she works there. And she's like, dude, you gotta stop. I said, okay, I got a plan. And finally, this dude who was living on the street came up to us. Listen to this. And he gave us a great compliment. Like, you two should be in some Christmas card or something, right? And she was like, give him $1. I said, you give him $1. You just told me not to do it. She said, give him $1. And so I did. That was funny. That was hilarious. We laughed about that all night. But that was great. Gives her a compliment. So give him one. So that's where I used to be. And because of this amazing program, because I came here, not just because of the steps and their traditions, but because of the people in AA when I got here, the people that decided to do the work. You know, the people that decide, like it says at the end of the ninth step, you know, it works if you work. It always works if you do the work. Do the work. What's that mean? Show up early for a meeting. Look for the newcomer. Raise your hand, you know, when they're looking for somebody to chair the meeting or go on the commitment, right? Right? Collect the money. Do the announcements. I've been an AA worker ever since I was brand new. You know, as I stayed doing the work, I ended up becoming the delegate of my area. You know, I ended up going all over the world for Alcoholics Anonymous. What? You know, like sometimes I used to want to say, you know, to the chairman of the board, like, hey, do you really know who I am? I remember during 1998, I was on the conference floor of the General Service Conference in Manhattan, right? And I got up to the microphone and I made a suggestion, and it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but I think I meant it. And I said that I wanted to get in the big book that if you've ever been locked up by mall police, you've been here, right? And they looked at, that's what they did, they laughed. Because I have been. And I thought that was a big deal. They didn't think so. So anyway, it never made it to the agenda. But you know, like just because of Alcoholics Anonymous, because of submitting myself to this program, you know, sitting up front, suiting up, showing up front, showing up, saying, okay, I'll do it. You know, will you sponsor me? Here's the answer, yes. I remember when I said yes to my first guy to sponsor him. I had 2 years of sobriety. And had I lived every step yet? Not yet. I think I was on step 3 of my sponsor or 4. And I said to my sponsor, I called him up, you know, like this. And I called Johnny H. from Young Men's in Philadelphia. I said, Johnny, a dude just asked me to sponsor him, and I don't know anything. He says he doesn't know that. Did you say yes? I said, yeah. He said, good. Call him up and ask him if he's got a big book. If he says yes, good, and proceed, and then ask him if he's got a God. If he says yes, say good. So I called this dude up. I said, hey, dude, you got a big book? He says yes. I said, good. I said, you got a God? He said yes. I said, good, we're doing it. Then I would call my sponsor back. You know, what do I do next? But, so like if you're new here, just say yes. Just say yes. You know, Paul, in that other book, he wrote these amazing letters, and he said, the only reason people say I'm a good orator, people say I'm a good speaker, people say I'm a good writer, and he said, without God behind me, I got nothing. Nothing. You see, if God is with us, who can be against us, huh? See, and I believe that with all my heart and soul. I believe, like I think, I brought it because I always do. In my pocket, I have something very important. And it's this. Dude, this is great. You're going to love this, Roy. This is crazy. If I can get it out. It's in my little... Oh! So here's my guy. This is a little frog, okay? And frog stands for fully relying on God. Okay? He goes everywhere I go, all the time, unless I'm in the ocean. Okay? And I need to fully rely on God. For if I do that, the rest is good. And I trust me, and I don't mean just rely on God when you're going in front of the judge. Okay? I don't mean just rely on God when you're laying in the dorm getting ready to be sent up to the penitentiary. Okay? Of course we're going to rely on God and pray, or God, get me out of this one. Yeah? But I mean in all times. Page 100 of our book, it's wonderful. On the left-hand side, it says, regardless of our present circumstances, right? Regardless, we can live in a new and happy freedom. It don't matter. Things can be going bad. We're doing good. You know, we haven't drank today. We haven't drugged today. We got meetings to go to. We got friends, right? We got somewhere to go. We got people to care about us. Most of us have jobs. That's pretty cool. Born and raised in Philadelphia. Catholic, 12 years, altar boy, rang the bells when the priest raised the host in the chalice. Good kid, sang Kumbaya, my Lord, in the May procession. I love the nuns. I speak with Sister Maurice a lot. Every time I get done speaking, Sister Maurice comes up to me and says, "You're such a good boy." And because I love the nuns. I'm not a recovering Catholic. I love Catholic school. I like everything about it. And then all of a sudden, 8th grade summer, I went to a Yes concert. At the Yes concert, I had my first drink. It came in the form of a Southern whiskey called Southern Comfort. And I did jiggers of Southern Comfort out of the cap. Okay? All right? And, chase it down with Heineken's. And by the time Roundabout came on at this Yes concert, I projectile vomited on this dude in front of me. Thank you. I love being at an AA event. I shared that recently at an Al-Anon event. Chris, and they all sat there like this. I told you, Martha. And I was a bad dude, man. And I projectile vomited. If you look at projectile vomit in the dictionary, it says puking without knowledge. Okay? I think it should say we pukers instead of we agnostics, right? And and I was a vomiter, dude. Like really, like I would have went all over your turban, man, dude. I wouldn't even care, man. Woo! You know what I mean? You'd be turning around. What's the matter with you? And sorry. And long and short of it is, I blacked out. So I projectile vomit. I black out. My boys, Bones, Lumpy, and Killer, take me home, drop me out of the car, 4511 Loring Street, row home in Philadelphia, and my mom looks at me and she says, what do I always hear? That one sentence, that one question, what's wrong with you? And nothing's wrong with me. I'm feeling good, you know. I'm sorry, you know. And I go upstairs and I put those 5 albums on the thing, you know, Frampton Comes Alive, Zeppelin 4. Genesis, Trick for the Tail. And I put them all, and I'm listening to them, you know, as I go to sleep. And that's who I am, you know. And all through high school, that's how I drank. All through high school, I played football. We weren't supposed to drink on Friday night because Saturday afternoons was our ball games, was our football games. And every Friday night I was drinking with the bad guys, you know. And long and short of it is that was my whole progression in high school, downward spiral. The whole high school. I went from being, by the time, in 8th grade, when I graduated 8th grade, I had perfect attendance. I never missed a class. You know, I love Kathy's nephews. They're 2 little dudes. They play football and they liked me because I was just like them. But once I got to high school, forget about it. Once I was introduced to alcohol. Once I was introduced to these, you know, non-conference approved materials, forget about it. Because I'm not normal anymore. Now I can't get enough. I just can't get enough. I'm a real alcoholic. It talks about 3 types of drinkers in here. It talks about the moderate drinker, right? It talks about the hard drinker. Don't worry, don't read that. It's not about you. Because then it talks about the third one, which we all are, and it talks about the real alcoholic, right? It talks about that. We're the type of person that goes in and out of the rooms. We're the type of person that goes in and out of asylums. We get locked up. We get families telling us to get out. To leave. Don't leave mad. Just leave. Right? Zach? Just leave and get out of our lives. Leave us alone. And we grab our alcoholic luggage. hefty trash bags. I'm doing good. My favorite, I used to get kicked out of rehabs. I was like a rehab kicker-outer. I would always get kicked out of rehab. I would be doing good for a few weeks, then I get kicked out. And when I would get kicked out, I would always be leaving my hefty trash bag. I'm going to burn this place down! Wasn't long before I was back in the joint because of my alcoholism. Because I don't know there's an answer. In our big book, it says the alcoholic in working with others. The alcoholic armed with the facts about him or herself, we can help others. See, I am armed with the truth today. I know what I am and who I am. I know I don't belong in a speakeasy tonight, or a bar, or a nightclub. And honest to God truth, I don't belong with family tonight that's drinking. Because I don't have a whole lot in common with them. I just don't. I want to be with you people. Every New Year's Eve, I'm always somewhere. With you people. Hanging out. Not drinking. Not drugging. Laughing. I think that's the music of Alcoholics Anonymous. I can tell you right now how happy our God and the angels and Bill and Bob and Ebby and Bill D and Marty Mann and all those alcoholics that are up there, Sister Ignatia, and all these alcoholics that had something to do, and non-alcoholics, that had something to do with us. I bet you they all got like front row seats here tonight. I believe that with all my heart and soul. And I believe they're happy that we're doing something, that we're moving forward, that we're trying to be encouragers. You see? That we're trying to say, hey man, you can have this too. All you got, but, now here comes the curse word. Okay, are you taping this? Here comes the curse word. 163, the big book. It says there's 3 things that we got to do. The last one's going to be a curse word. It begins with an L. And it says, we have to have willingness. Willingness, broken down, is action without reluctance. Real easy stuff, right? You've been through me, Jimmy, my retreats. Action without reluctance. Oh, I got to do the coffee next week. Don't do it. If you're my sponsor and you're talking like that, I want you to be willing to do this. Go do something else. I'd get somebody willingly make the coffee next Friday. Willingness, patience. Huh? How important is patience in recovery? And this is from our founders. This isn't from me. And the last word, forgive me for the curse word, ladies and gentlemen of Doylestown. Labor. Sorry, sometimes your sponsor won't tell you that. Willingness, patience, and labor. We got to help others. We got to disturb our comfortability. We got to go to those rehabs, right, Kath? We got to go to those prisons, right? We got to go to those mental hospitals. We got to go to these home groups, and when somebody asks us to travel, and just go. Carloads. I've done so many when I had no time. Up to 3 and 4 and 5 years. Before they would even consider asking me to speak. We were just going on road trips. For 30 or 40 miles to go to another group and support it. And hear a speaker that we haven't heard before. And that was always exciting. And I hope that's exciting for you too. I hope you still do road trips with your friends. And you girls, I know what you do. You go out and you do your movies and your manicures. Ain't that nice, Us guys, we get our stogies and we play cards. Whatever works for you, But whatever it is, hang with us. Right, Susie? Hang with us. Go to our roundups. Go to our conventions. Sit up front. Get us to know who we are. By the way, all the front row people, from Ron over to Kathy, raise your hand. All the front row people, come on, don't be afraid. Raise your hand. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the sick row. All the guys in the back standing up, raise your hand. All you guys, and except for the guy with the baby, you get a pass. Everybody raise your hand back there. Come on, raise your hand. Raise your hand, everybody turn around. That's the inventory row, people. Love yous. Oh, boy. We just have fun. We have fun in recovery. Graduated from high school in 1979. Went down to senior week with Bones, Lumpy, and Killer. All our girlfriends went to St. Hubert's and graduated. I was going out with a cheerleader named Barbie, blonde hair, blue-eyed Barbie. And first night, she gets me and she says, sit down. First night. Usually that's not good, Roy. Not good. And she says, sit down. And I said, yes. And I sit down. I got my hat on backwards, right? I'm listening to AC/DC on a highway to hell. On a highway. I got my Walkman on. I'm feeling no pain. I'm an alcoholic. I'm an addict. And I'm good with it. I'm enjoying the moment. And she said, sit down. And she says to me, Robbie, you drink too much for me, and I'm going to have to go in a different direction. Yeah, exactly, dude. And first day of senior week, and she's breaking up on me. That's not fair, man. You know. And so, like, I thought about all these great things I would say to her. How much I like Barbie, I love you, and I really like being with you, and da da da. And the only thing that came out of my mouth, because I'm an alcoholic, is okay. And I walked back to the hotel room dejectedly, and there was Brother Lump. Lump is Tommy Lynch. Lumpy was Tommy Lynch. Brother Lump was like John Belushi on Animal House. He was an absolute pig. All the girls hate him. We all loved him, right? So Brother Lump, I told him what's going on. He's got a beard. He's a really big dude. And I said, Brother Lump, Barb, just let me go. And he was like, yeah. So he wasn't an Al-Anon either. And all week at Ron, we did what we were supposed to do. As a young alcoholic, senior week, I did what I was supposed to do, Zach. And when I got home, I got a job at a place, at a federal depository. Okay? And I got accepted at a university abroad in Columbia called Temple. And everything was going good for like 3 business days. Okay? That's not supposed to be funny, you alcoholics. Dude with the tattoos was like, yeah, dog. Anyway, and so I'm at the bank, okay, and we're all drinking across the street. I'm at 17th and Walnut, Cath, right in Center City, Philadelphia. And I'm a bank teller with these smoking girls. I'm having a great time. I'm living large, right? Hormones are racing. I'm with these beautiful girls. And on Friday night, we go to Froggy's. And now Froggy's had this sign. It said, Froggy's, leap on in. It had this green frog, ironically enough, going across the sign, leap on in. I never leapt on out. And I did, unlike those gals, they would do the normal thing. At about 9:15, 9:15, they would go home to their family. Maybe go home to their boyfriends. Maybe do something nice on a Friday night, right? And I would be like, I'm the 1 o'clock guy. I'm the last call guy as the lights are going on and off. I remember in a business meeting once at our clubhouse, some dude used to always do that, last call at 10 o'clock. And I brought that up at the business meeting. That's not acceptable. You know? Woo! But the reality of it is that's who I am. I'm drinking till 1 in the morning. I'm going home. I'm puking. I'm urinating. And there's my mom. There's my mom. For those my age, right? She would watch Johnny Carson and then the Tom Snyder show. And it seemed like Tom Snyder came on at 1. He'd always be on when I'd walk in. You know how the last 2 blocks you're trying to sober up? You know what I mean? You know? I'm good. You know, burping, hitting yourself, water in your face from a puddle outside. Right? That seemed right to do. And I walk in, and once again, she'd look at me, and she just, you know, what we always see. Kind of like Lurch on Addams Family. Right, man? Like, and that's what I heard, dudes. And that was always, my mom would never go to sleep. And that was the beginning of the end. Fast forward, I gave myself gradual raises at that bank. For those, that's a felony. That's called bank larceny. And I didn't know it, man. I never been in the back of a police car. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Northeast Philadelphia. I got this long hair. Back then, like long hair was really in. I had really long hair. When I walked, my wings went up and down. And I had a slightly athletic build because I played football, right? Did a lot of calisthenics and all that. And I had these ice blue eyes. Roy, they're really good for girls in high school. Really bad for big guys with tattoos in prison. And and that's where I went. I showed up for work one day, and there's 2 guys from the FBI. I'm 18 years old. I'm drinking like a fish. I'm taking withdrawals from the bank without a slip. And I end up in the back of a federal car. I end up at the roundhouse. I end up getting a year inside a prison. And I had never done time before. Mom and Dad had got me to watch Scared Straight, but I had no idea. See, on page 15 of Bill's story, the last page, 16, Bill says, some are shocked at our seeming worldliness and our levity or our humor. What's so funny? See, if you're new and you're sitting here and people are laughing, I know who you are, because you're sitting here like this. You know? Not laughing at that guy with a red bow tie, man. I don't care what he says, man. This ain't funny. And you know why it's not funny? It's not funny because you can't laugh at something that you haven't healed from yet. Think about that. I remember the first time, Chris, when I was at a meeting, and I don't know how much time I had. I don't know if it was 8 months or 9 months or 10 months or 13 or 14 months. And the first time when somebody shared and I started laughing. You see, I think I joined. And it's that simple. All of a sudden, I wasn't different. All of a sudden, you understood me because of what you shared. I've been there, or I understood you finally. I had that open-mindedness. And I had that honesty. I had that willingness to do the right thing. And then Bill says, but just underneath that levity is a deadly earnestness. Let's go there. That year inside a prison on State Road in Philadelphia, it was just horrific. It was horrific, and it was the most horrific year of my life. Almost as bad as my first year of sobriety. That's real hope for the newcomer. But get through that first year, man. You're going to be okay. But and my year inside prison was horrible. I didn't like anything about it. I don't jail well. And the first night out, it says, remember, you know what it says on the bottom of page 58 to the top of page 59? We read it at most meetings. And I'm going to ask you to repeat it here tonight at 20 of 9. In Doylestown, at the Conscious Contact Group. And here it goes, and I want you to please repeat it. It says, remember, we deal with alcohol. Cunning, baffling, and powerful. Fair. That's a fair. That's a best fair. So we're going to do it again. And this time, I'd like to ask everybody to participate. We want people in Doylestown to know what's up. You ready? It says, remember, we deal with alcohol. Cunning, baffling, powerful. Did you ever notice on page 59, after powerful, there's an exclamation point? Okay? And that means, exclaim it, man. Exclaim it, brothers and sisters. It says, remember, we deal with, you ever been in a meeting sometimes, somebody trained it says, and remember, we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's some of these we balked. We thought we could devise an easier assault their way. I want to grab them. And then you see my sponsees, because they know I'm in the room at least. Remember, we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. And then they look at me, I'm like, good. But we put life into something. We put our heart into this. We're for real. We're for real for once. I don't care what you tell me. I drank and drugged with a lot of you people. And if you acted out there like you acted here, I wouldn't even hung out with you. So sometimes, be who you really are. Be who you really are here. Stop worrying about what Joey or Mary thinks about you and start worrying about or thinking about what God thinks about you. Start being a God pleaser instead of a people pleaser. Quite frankly, obviously, I don't care what you think about me. That's pretty obvious already, right? But I am very concerned what my supervisor thinks. What my supervisor named God thinks. Because that's my supervisor today. And I want to be a seeker. Sought through prayer. I want to seek. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve what? Our conscious contact with God as we understood Him. Praying only for the knowledge of His will for us. And here comes the wisdom and the power to carry it out. And we know where that power is. And it's not from us. And it's not from our sponsor. And it's not from our home group. And it's not from the big book. That power is from God. That one is God. May you find Him now. That's the next sentence, but I kind of wait. I had a little bit of long introduction. In and out of prison, in and out of jails, in and out of rehabs, in and out of psych wards. Didn't like it. Didn't have any fun with it. Suicide attempts. I would go to a hospital. Like my mom recently, Kathy came and visited when my mom was in the hospital, right? And like I know what it's like to go in a hospital, in an emergency room, and have my stomach pumped. Anybody ever have their stomach pumped? Thank you. I mean, it's horrible. Like they make you drink this stuff because you got too much in you. You're going to combust. You see? And I like being in a hospital today, sober, dressed nice, with a purpose, and not there under the lash of alcoholism. Under the lash. Horrible place to be. So I'm in a corner. And I'm drinking booze. I'm drinking Night Train wine at this point, my last drink. I'm in a cubby hole in northeast Philadelphia, home circle. And I'm not bothering nobody. It's 1 a.m. And here comes the blue paddy wagon, son Jay. Because apparently I woke somebody up, at the house. You know what I mean? I'm not bothering nobody, Roy. I'm minding my own business, dude, And here comes the blue paddy wagon. And this very hawking fella comes out. And he looks at me and he said, "Get in the van." And I did. Yes, sir. I can follow directions. I got in the van. I think I'm getting locked up again. He takes it to a 7-Eleven. And he says, "Go and talk to the guy inside." He said, "Open up your hands." I opened up my hands and he put a whole handful of change in there. See, this is what happened. That's what it used to be like. Here's what happened. Here's how God and his angels started. And I got this whole handful of change, and I went to that guy in the back. He said his name was George. And I went back and I said, "Hi, George, I'm Rob." And he says, "How you doing, young man? I am George. My name is George, and I'm an alcoholic." And at first I felt sorry for the brother. We don't know. I'm shut out. It talks about delusion in here, right, Chris? We've been through this big book. It talks about we're delusionary. Like, why is this guy? And he's telling me all his life. He's got like a diary. Like, I didn't realize I come from a place where you don't tell nobody nothing. Omerta. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who were you with? Nobody. What'd you do? Nothing. Who was that? I don't know. Really? And now you come here and they're like, you got to write it down. Write it down and cop to it. Like, what? Real names? Yeah, real names. Like, whoa. And this dude started, you know what he was doing? He's doing the exact same thing that Bill Wilson did with Dr. Bob and Headrider Cyberling's estate on December something of 1934, right? He was carrying them something. Was it May 12th? Thank you. And he was like carrying a message. Thank you, brother. Last speaker, very good. And, I knew they put you last for a reason. And anyway, and yet he was carrying them. He was talking about his drinking. He wasn't talking about the third step. He wasn't talking about the 11th step. He wasn't talking about the third tradition. He wasn't talking about the second tradition where a loving God may express himself in a group conscious. He was talking about his drinking. And I related. He was talking about the Holy Spirit prison. Been there. He's talking about living on the streets on Kensington Avenue in Tioga. Been there. I get it. He was talking my language. And this dude took me home with him. And he got me to that first AA meeting at New Life at Jasper, Ontario, in Kenzo. And I loved him, man, Kensington. And I loved him, man. I absolutely loved him. I fit in with these brothers and sisters. It was a good meeting if you lived, And how'd you do? I think I'm okay. There's only one fist fight, dude. Not bad meeting. But listen, seriously. I started going to meetings, I started hearing God. I started going to meetings, I started watching. And if you were like me, I stayed away from you. I know what addiction looks like. I know what alcoholism looks like. I know what untreated alcoholism looks like. I know what untreated drug addiction looks like. I'm not impressed. I'm here to help. I'll put my hand out to anybody. I handle some of the roughest cases in Wildwood. They send them to me, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not impressed with it if you've been here for a while. Not even a little bit. I'm not laughing at you either. I don't think it's funny. I think you could kill people if you don't get the real message and give the real message up. I think you can kill people. If you can't help somebody, please don't hurt them. If you haven't been through these 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and you don't sponsor people and you don't have a home group and you're not active and they ask you to do something major in AA, just say, "I'm not ready yet." I got to keep doing the work before I'm able to give the proper message. At least that was my experience until I was ready. And I got here, and I stayed here, and I did what you guys told me to do, and I slept in a guy named Schmitty's basement. I slept in a guy's basement on a mattress. You see, I sold pretzels and sodas at Kensington and Lehigh. Not too long ago, I did a 5K race right past that corner, man, sober, for addicts, trying to help other addicts and alcoholics. See, and that's who I am. Okay? I started doing the work. I'm a 3-time convicted felon. At the time, I was a fugitive from justice. I said that in a meeting once, and the guy came up to me afterwards. He says, "Don't share everything here." We have traditions, but sometimes everybody doesn't follow them. Be careful. I had a year of sobriety, and I turned myself into the authorities. Ninth step. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible. Right? Except to do so would injure them or others. I was ready. I was ready. And I went to Harbison and Levick, and I went to the 15th District, and I said, "Here I am, and here's my name." And they found me, and I went in front of the judge the next day after sleeping that night there. And I told I very had my head up. I told the judge, "I've been sober a year, Your Honor, in Alcoholics Anonymous." And I turned myself in. And he banged his gavel and said, "1 year, House of Correction. Thanks for coming back." I don't think that's funny. Appreciate you like that. It really sucked when it happened. And so I did my first and second year inside the joint, Johnny. First and second year in the joint. And I didn't drink. And I went to meetings. And the South Philly group of Moya Menson came in there and carried the message to me every Wednesday night. I got on their list. I did everything I could to get in their list. I think I beat up a dude to get on the list. I don't care. I got on the list. I went to AA meetings, man. I had my own big book inside the joint. I got out and I got a place to stay. I got 5 years and I walked it off. I walked it off with my head up. At the end of the meetings when we do the Lord's Prayer, I said, "We've had our heads down long enough. Keep your head up. Keep your head up when you say that prayer." We bow before no one. You know, we kneel before no one today except our God. You know, today we're not doormats. Today I walk proud. I walk obediently, and I do the right thing in life. But I'll tell you what, man, you know, don't mess with me. Especially if it has something to do with Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Especially if it has something to do with my sobriety, because I will pull you aside. I will pull you aside and says, my life depends on not drinking and not taking it out of the crap. And you can do any joke you want about my hair or about my suspenders, okay? But don't mess with my sobriety, because this is life or death. This is a life or death errand. Sobriety. I had 4 years of sobriety. My parents aren't back in my life, but I'm still going to meetings, John. I got 4 years of sobriety. I really got no girlfriend, you know. I got 4 years of sobriety. I'm working at 7-Eleven still. I'm selling burgers and meeting all the police, you know, giving them coffee late at night. You know, I don't feel good about myself. I feel ashamed. I don't care what all you people in AA say. I'm not proud of myself, but I'm not drinking. And I got a sponsor, and I've been a GSR, and I've been an intergroup rep, and I hang out with guys like that. You know, you guys, I love you guys. I don't know why. Guys. I hung out with guys, and I go to meetings, but nothing's going good. Nothing's going crazy. The miracles aren't happening yet. Don't quit. Don't quit, they kept on saying. I would cry. Everybody, Christmas night meetings. I hated Christmas night meetings. Everybody's talking about their parents and their family and their loved ones and their new gifts and their new Eagles jerseys. And I got nothing. I got nothing but another day of sobriety. And they said, don't quit. And I went to get a job at a large automobile dealership. 4 years of sobriety. And I sat in front of his owner with a suit on. And he said to me, have you ever sold anything? You guys know me now. I said to him, yes, sir. But most times the people didn't know it. And then I had one of those sponsors that told me to tell the truth. And I told him the truth. And I told him I had a grand theft auto. He didn't like that too much. Bank larceny. And I had a burglary. And I actually burglarized a church. You know? That's who I am. That's who I am. I never want to forget that. I went into God's house and took everything out of there I could. And that's who I am. To get another drink. Not to hurt any of the parishioners, not to hurt that church, but so I could get another drink. See, that's who I am. Full flight from reality. Complete mental defective. At the end of the interview, he did what I knew he was going to do. He said, we're going to keep your application on file. Because I know you people are lying to me. I know you people are saying, don't drink and go to meetings, and things beyond your wildest dreams are going to happen. Woo! They ain't happening. They ain't happening. I'm sharing a room with other dudes we're sharing. You know, my rent's like maybe $100 a week. You know, I'm making 120 at this 7-Eleven. Now I'm riding the bike, man. I'm a 3-time convicted felon, and I'm not worthy of nothing. My own family won't have nothing to do with me. I got a mom and a dad and a little sister. They won't have nothing to do with me. I'm 4 years sober. Where's the rewards? I'm doing the work too, man. And I put my suit jacket on, and I'm getting ready to walk out of his office, and I'm crying. A moment in time I'll never forget. Page 46 of the big book on the left-hand side says, God will never give you hard terms if you come to him. And when I was I did have a small car at that point. When I was out in that parking lot before I went in for an interview, I prayed and I prayed. And then all of a sudden the owner looked at me and said, sit down. He said, I have no idea why I'm getting ready to say this to you. I did. He said, I'm going to give you a chance. There's something about you that I like. See, he gave me a chance. You see, I shouldn't have had a driver's license. See, I got convicted of grand theft auto. The good news is that trumps DUI. Okay? I never got a DUI. Because I stole a car and took it across state lines. And they never got me for DUI. Because apparently, you know, grand theft auto is bigger. And so I never had a... And when I was so new in sobriety, I had no problem getting a license. And you got to have a license to work at a car dealership. And here we are. We got an owner who knows I can't be bonded by the FBI. He hires me at a place where there's 758 cars on his lot. Don't you dare tell me how big your problems are. When you meet me after this meeting, tell me how big your God is. Okay, you tell me how big your God is, and then I'll start listening. You start telling me your problems, I'll say, go tell Susie and Joey your problems. Tell me about your God, then I'll listen. Because he hired me, and that was 28 years ago. And it's become, like I'm the car dealer. I do commercials. I think one of the best commercials we could do, and I'll get ready to close, one of the best commercials we could ever do in Alcoholics Anonymous is the one we do every November. And it's to push it in, pull it in, drag it in. You've heard that one before, right? Well, I think we should have that one in Alcoholics Anonymous. Push them in, pull them in, drag their sorry butts in here, and we'll give them more than they think they're worth. Ladies and gentlemen, when I came here in 1983, and I sat in the front row, and I might have acted like I was looking good. I might have had my Chuck Taylor Converse sneakers on. I might have had my hair slicked back and my new fresh tattoos. But I'll tell you what, I felt this big, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I stand on the shoulder of giants when I get to speak in front of Alcoholics Anonymous. Today there are men named Tom Ivester and Sandy Beach and Clancy Emerson and Johnny Harris and Pastor Ed Mutum and all these amazing speakers that have come. Oh, Chuck Chamberlain, that have come before me and that have turned me on. And my only job is to continue that legacy, to be another Bill Wilson, to be another Dr. Bob, to be another Ebby Thatcher, to be another Marty Mann, to be a Sister Ignatia, to be somebody, to be a Lois Wilson, to be an Annie Smith, to be somebody that cares about others and likes to light for others. You know, I hope that, I think we're all given a little small candle when we come here, right? And what do we do with that candle? We cup it. Remember these other things you should do? Now you cup it, right? And so you cup that little flame, right, as you're walking around. And then you come here, and we put our hands together, and we put our little candles together. And there's an amazing flame. And it's that flame that the newcomer sees. That's the flame that I saw when I got here. See, when you cursed. You see, when you acted like an idiot. You see, when you were here for the wrong reasons. See, you didn't get through to me. You scared me because it was like looking in the mirror. But see, when you told me, when you pulled me up with how I was talking, or how I was dressing, or how I was acting in a meeting, or how I was treating ladies, and then you taught me how to grow up in AA. You taught me how to be a man. And today, that's who I aspire to be today. I want to close with this. I believe with all my heart and soul that I'm going to be that guy, right? I'm going to be that guy. I believe I'm going to be that guy. And I'm going to be on second base, right? This is second base, right? And I'm staying on second base. And my boy Jimmy Yates, stand up for a second. Stand up just for a second. Now, and act like you're batting. Jimmy's at bat, right? And I'm walking, so I get my lead. I get my lead off second. Here comes the pitch. Give it a good swing. crack, up the middle. You don't have to run, stay there. And so, so I go. There's 2 outs. We're down 1 run. I got to get, we're tie game. I got to get home. And I get to third base, ladies and gentlemen, of Doylestown, and I'm getting close to third. And my friend Roy, I want you to be the third base coach. Stand up for a second. I want you to say stop. Stop. Okay, I'm coming up to you. Tell me stop again. Stop. And I go by him. Sit down, thank you. And I go by him, and I make that turn. I think I'm Pete Rose. And halfway between third and home, Chris, I lay out. I lay out because people tell me stop all my life. They've been telling me since I've been sober, you're not going to get a real job. They've been telling me since I've been sober, you're not going to make a difference in life. They've been telling me since I got sober, you're a 3-time convicted felon. They've been telling me since I'm sober, you haven't been to college, you can't be nobody. And you people on AA said, yes, you can. And I pass that third base coach and I slide home. And the dirt clears. And I look up and my hand's on the bag. And I look up and there's my higher power. And he says one word. And he says safe. He says, I gave you a gift on October 31st of 1983. Young man, you took that gift and you gave it away for free and for fun at every chance you got. You were ridiculed and you kept going. You know, you were made fun of and you kept going. You took sarcasm, you took shots, and you kept carrying my message to my kids for free and for fun. Now, welcome into my kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen of Doylestown, my name is Robbie, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you.
Absolutely epic, sir. Always a pleasure. Let's take a 5-minute break and be back here in about 8 minutes. See you.